So we've got some climate activists expanding their tire slashing operation beyond New York City. Here are the cities they hit. Climate activists are from the UK, from the United Kingdom, coming to the United States, and they're deflating the tires on SUVs. Yep. That's what they're doing. Deflating the tires. I mean, Fox calls it tire slashing. Any which way, can't drive that SUV without air in the tires, right? That's what we're talking about today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies. I read news like this. Tire slashing operation beyond New York City. Of course, you're only going to find this on Fox. I talk about that fairly often from the standpoint of you're only going to find some stories out there that are, accurately being portrayed on Fox. All the other networks are like, environmentalists, they're all mostly peaceful. Well, until you walk out to your car and you can't drive it because you got no air in your tires. It can happen anywhere, anytime, a spokesperson for the group tells Fox News Digital. Anywhere, anytime. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Go out to your car, no air in the tires. They leave a nice little note. Sorry, nothing personal. Seriously, that's what they're doing. The UK climate group, whose members deflated tires on an estimated 40 vehicles in New York City last month, recently announced similar actions in cities nationwide. What do they honestly think the reaction is going to be from this? Well, somebody emptied the tires out of my SUV. Guess I better get rid of it. I guess I should trade it in on the tiniest little electric vehicle I could. Oh, wait a minute. They're also taking air out of the tires in electric vehicles? Yeah, this is quite a story. The Tire Extinguishers, that's the name of this group. TYRE, very British, right? The Tire Extinguishers, which encourages activists to deflate tires of parked sports utility vehicles to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, said it's already spread to Chicago and San Francisco this month. Individuals affiliated with the group have deflated tires of 20 SUVs in Chicago, another 20 in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and 12 near San Francisco. Strong work, guys. Strong work. I mean, you guys are really doing the Lord's work out there deflating people's tires. No, that's ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. Well, not the stupidest. I read a lot of stories that are stupid. This being one of them, clearly. It can happen anywhere, anytime. If you're reading this and you own an SUV, scrap it before we get to it. You guys are knuckleheads for doing this. Spokesperson previously told Fox News Digital that the group expected to expand massively across the U.S. in the coming weeks. Now, am I going to be intimidated? I drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee, whatever. No, I'm going to keep driving it. You know why? I like my SUV. I just do. I like it. It's nondescript. You can drive into any parking lot. And there's like two or three of these. It's like this dark gray color. It's the most nondescript SUV ever. There's so many of them on the roads. I mean, you might have slightly different tires and different rims. I kept mine stock because I like the whole anonymous thing. You just don't stick out. I just don't care. I don't need to be driving some crazy fancy thing that attracts a bunch of attention. I just don't need that. I need to be able to put the seats back down so I can haul just a crap ton of stuff, because I always seem to be hauling a bunch of stuff from somewhere to somewhere, whether it's office equipment or stuff for home or stuff for my boat or stuff for my jet skis, just life nonsense. You can't do that in a tiny little ineffective electric vehicle that still impacts the carbon footprint massively because of the creation of batteries, right? So there's that. This is wild, wild stuff. So the Tire Extinguishers, on their Twitter account, they said, "Nice to see our demands on Fox News. Make them happen by joining at tireextinguishers.com. The Tire Extinguishers want to see bans on SUVs in suburban areas, pollution levies to tax SUVs out of existence, and massive investment in free comprehensive public transport." Oh, that's worked out quite so well, hasn't it? We're working on some massive public transport here in Seattle on the east side. I kind of wonder, is anybody really going to ride that bad boy? It's light rail. I mean, the infrastructure to create this is just crazy. Are we going to ride that? Are we going to, ride it around? Other people in other cities say, transit system in New York City, it's been in place for years and it's great. Yeah, until you get mugged on it, right? That's a term you used to hear out of like the 70s. Now I think it's just, another mostly peaceful assault. Yeah, that's kind of where we see things going. The group explained that it aims to take SUVs out of services because they are a disaster for our health, our public safety, and our climate. Disaster for our health? What? Smog? I mean, what are we talking about here? Really? Our public safety? Actually, our public safety, those who drive them are safer. So, and when you hit things in them, you're actually safer because with the little electric cars, that doesn't go well. So you got the whole public safety thing and our climate. All right. Not buying the whole climate argument. Got to be honest. Not buying it. Bigger and bigger cars are dominating our towns and cities. Actually, no. Do you remember the Escalade? Do you remember the Navigator? We had a Navigator for a while when my kids were a Lincoln Navigator, just the biggest SUV. I mean, not as big as the Expedition, I think it was, that Ford put out. I mean, those are monster vehicles. It's got the third seat way in the back. That's where you put the one kid that's, in timeout. As back when I had kids that were, that age and were constantly hauling around 10 of their friends and sports practices all day long. And we needed a big car like that, or we thought we did. I don't know. Station wagon would have been just fine. That's what I had when I was a kid. A cool Ford station wagon with that third seat way in the back, that kind of pop-up seat that you got all the exhaust because the exhaust system was right there. This is good. Open up the window, Dad. Let me get some exhaust back here. Bigger and bigger cars are dominating our towns and cities. I feel like that is not the case. Navigator, massive vehicle, hard to park in city. And you just don't see a lot of those anymore. The Escalade, Escalade during the go-go years of real estate market, every mortgage guy out there had an Escalade, right? I'm just driving my living room around, just going. So I don't agree with bigger and bigger cars. I see cars go in the opposite direction. And if that works for you, I say you go do you. I'll be driving my Ford F-350 crew cab. Thank you very little. Because governments and politicians have failed to protect us from this danger, we must protect ourselves by letting the air out of your tires. Oh, effective. Wow, that's really people are going to get really worked up over that. And they're going to say, yeah, damn it, get into that car. I'm getting a tiny, tiny little, I'm going to get a 1-cylinder scooter. I'm just going to drive that all around town. On the site, the group provides tips for activists to quickly deflate tires and a leaflet that can be printed and left on targeted vehicle windshields. The document asks the victim to not take it personally that their tires were deflated. All right. So I talk about, Fox having a certain, Fox carried this article, credit to them for that, right? And they called it tire slashing. That's where you take a knife and just hit the sidewall. You don't want to puncture the actual portion that hits the road because then they can patch that. Hit that sidewall. Yeah. Tire's done. You can't fix that. So, but we're actually talking about deflating tires. Not that bad. You got to get some air in there. I carry around one of those little mini air compressors. I usually use it to fill up like floaties for the lake or the river, never for my car. Because if that happens, something bad has happened, and I'll probably need to call the real mechanic, right? So you've got these groups that are literally, here's the template for the piece of literature you can leave, and this is why your tires were deflated because you're a bad person for owning this car, of which there are millions of on the road. But this is our way to get your attention to the environment. We're going to do something that's going to ruin your day. It's going to ruin your schedule. You got to figure out how to get that bad boy pumped back up. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. Don't do it. That's stupid. It's stupid. And as far as how to quickly deflate tires, you take something pokey and hit the stem on the deflation device on said tire. Maybe you have to take the cap off first. Hit that stem. You'll hear the loud whooshing sound. That's air. That's how simple this is. You probably don't need a how-to on deflating, right? Or you could take an air compressor with a nozzle hooked up to it and just hit it and air will come out. Air will come out. It's shocking how that works. But if you're an activist, activists don't seem to, they don't have any real life skills. So they've got to have people tell them, here's how you take air out of tires. It's good. The tire extinguishers don't exclude electric vehicles from their actions, explaining such cars also have a major carbon footprint. So are we going to go back to Fred Flintstone, pushing the car with his feet? Probably not. I mean, probably not. Now, I think we're stuck with, whether you like it or not, we're stuck with gas cars for a long time. That's just how this is going to go. We're not going to have this switch over by 2030. No, that's absurd. The group's spokesperson forwarded Fox News Digital an email from the EV owner located in San Francisco, complaining their vehicle was targeted and demanding compensation. Demand all you want. Now, who's demanding what? At this point in this article, I don't really care, right? Yeah. Are you people verifying whether the cars you're slashing are electric vehicles or not? Maybe they are actually slashing some tires. It's hard to say. Slashing are electric vehicles or not? Or are you just targeting all SUVs, the person wrote. Freaking geniuses, they continued. How do I get compensated for this? Oh, you give up your SUV and then you compensate the world by, reducing said carbon footprint, or that's what they would tell you to believe. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? It's crazy, right? I mean, it's just one more thing where it's mostly peaceful until you're the one that has to go out to your car and you're late. You've got a meeting, you got a doctor's appointment, you got to go grab the kids, you got to go do some darn thing, you got to go do something for your boss, you got to go pick up food. You just ordered food and you're going to pick it up because you don't want to pay the $2.99 DoorDash fee on top of all those other fees and tip them. So you're going to go pick up your lunch, you're going to go pick up your dinner, get out to your car. All right. So now you're going to spend the next hour monkeying around trying to figure out how you're going to get some air back in said tire. Are you going to call AAA if you have it? You're going to call a tow truck? You're going to call somebody with a small air compressor to come by? You're going to rig one up? You're going to do the foot pump for 25 hours? Yeah, this is not cool. This is not cool. Activism, for the most part, is just really annoying. It just is. It really is. I like to poke fun at activists because most of the stuff, they're so convinced that this is the right thing to do. And then they go to such great lengths. What if they actually started a business that created something, took all this energy and put it into that? That's the way I always see it. Do something positive. Do something positive with your life. It's kind of like Antifa. All they do is just run around and destroy stuff. You're going to feel good about that? Yep, did some real damage today. We're going to judge ourselves a 9 out of 10 for destruction on today's journeys out there and mostly peaceful protesting. Yeah, so these guys, the tire extinguishers, it's a real deal. Look for them in a city near you in the near future. And if you find them, let them know what you think. All right, that's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch up soon. Talk then. Bye for now.